Welcome back. There's some strong family traditions of breeding in the Manawatu, and we sat down with third generation Fell, Duncan, at Fairdale Stud. Duncan, your third generation Fell here at Fairdale Stud. Was there ever going to be another option for you?
Early on, I was a little bit apprehensive about horses. I was always been really interested in farming and agriculture, and it really really took until I got away from the farm that my passion really developed for thoroughbreds and breeding.
You talk about the day-to-day running. I mean, what are your duties on a daily basis at the stud?
Well, this time of year being winter, just you know, it's a pretty quiet time of year, but certainly in the spring it gets very hectic. So my job mainly involves teasing of mares and reproduction, foaling that. You know, I'm basically involved with the mares, and then we have staff who sort of manage the yearling side of things, but and also just keeping an overall eye on all other areas and make sure everything's ticking over as it should be.
Talk about fully fledged to start with, the first crop at the sales this year. You must have been pleased with the results.
Oh, we were more than pleased. We were. It was absolutely fantastic. The way he was received. He's not only the prices that he achieved. He averaged, I think, 12 times his service fee, which is an incredible result. But he's also gone into some really good trainers, Wally Mitchell in Perth, and the likes of Keith and Brendan Horton, Peter Williams. So, you know, a lot of you know, experienced horsemen have taken a liking to the stock, and they're going to get a great opportunity. What sort of feedback have you had about the yearlings? Nothing but positive feedback with fully fledged. Quite a few have been to the breakers now, and several of the breakers have, you know, absolutely raved about the stock. They've got great natures, and you know, just look like natural athletes. I mean, you can see what breeders can achieve off a modest service fee. He leaves a great type, so breeders can breed to him with confidence that they're going to, you know, get an attractive foal. And obviously they appeal to the buyers.
$4,000. Any thought of putting the service fee up?
Not at this stage. He's really, you know, the ball's in his court now. He really needs to get the results on the track. And as I said, they're very athletic looking and great natures. So, you know, I can't see any reason why he won't leave one or two that'll get up and go early, get a nice 2-year-old winner. Then that's sort of when we expect the bookings to start rolling in.
And what about Nom de Jour? We've got his first crop going to the sales in 2013. Are you excited?
Oh, very excited. Again, similar to fully fledged, he's left some outstanding types. He's a great looking horse himself. He's got a lot of presence, and he's certainly thrown that into his stock. He's Nom de Jour syndicated between some of the major studs around New Zealand, and you know, a lot of the stud masters have commented that you know, their best foal on the farm's a Nom de Jour foal, so it's very exciting. What
about the future for Fairdale Stud? Have you got a 5-year plan in place?
To be honest, I've never been much of a goal setter, but a lot of it hinges on you know, which direction these two stallions go in. We're obviously, you know, very confident of what we've seen so far, but I guess you know, we'll always be involved in standing stallions. That's the core of our business, and we've got a, you know, a good asset here in our farm. And as long as breeding horses is the best way to utilise the asset, I guess that's what we'll be doing.
Keep an eye out next week when we talk to Duncan's cousin William at Goodwood Stud. Time now to head across the Tasman and catch up with New Zealand Bloodstock's Richard Haynes.
Hello and welcome to Kiwi Bred Abroad, brought to you by the Singapore Turf Club. Now, when we talk about Kiwi bred horses racing in Australia, for mine there is one owner that has had just about more success than anyone else when it comes to the Kiwi breds. I speak of Nick Moraitis. Nick's been good enough to join us today, and where do we start? Well, we start with one horse, and it is Might and Power. But your relationship with the Kiwi bred gallopers is a great one.
Might and Power, the leader, true first to go to Remus is after him. Might and Power led a length and a half, true to Remus, then Linesman. Might and Power, the leader, Remus is coming at him. Remus Remus after Might and Power. Might and Power into Remus. They hit it. Oh, it's close to Remus runs.
I've always had an affinity with New Zealand racehorses. I just felt they always stronger, seemed to be more stronger in their attitude to racing and things like that, especially over distances. And of course, you know, so everyone buys a racehorse and they all aspire to win a Melbourne Cup. First thing everyone says, we're going to win a Melbourne Cup. Little did I know at the time that I was going to win a Melbourne Cup, Caulfield Cup, and Cox Plate with the one horse. And as you're probably well aware, it's only the second horse in the history of racing. And it was another New Zealand bred horse that did that, was Rising Fast. So they're the only two in the history of this great racing in Australia.
You must pinch yourself. A horse like Might and Power comes along, you invest the money in the sport, you invest in a horse like him, but you hope to win a race here and there. Aspiration, we all aspire to win Melbourne Cups, but he was just a bit of a phenomenon, Might and Power. Most definitely, you know, and when I bought him, everyone laughed at me because he was actually passed in, and I bought him at the reserve price. And even Alan Denham at the time said to me, if you would have asked me to look at him, I said, don't buy him because of his leg. Nobody wanted him. This front leg he had was a bit crooked. But I was always taught as a younger person by another very good friend that when you're buying a racehorse, look at what the mother's done. And I've always done that. I looked at his mother and coming from where she came from and going to New Zealand to be matched with the Great Seville, I said, well, I've got to buy this racehorse. And the success he gave me was just unbelievable. You know, you only dream of these things ever happening to you, and here's a horse that brought the dream come true. Touch on other horses with the NZ suffix, a horse like Fiumicino comes to mind, a terrific stayer.
Yeah, he won the Derby, you know. I remember when we were bidding for him in New Zealand, John Hawkes bid for him, for me. I was on the telephone here, and I have never been to New Zealand. I've been invited over there a few times, and I wanted to go, but you don't find the time to go, of course. So we went there, and with Fiumicino they got to a price, and John said, I think we've had enough, don't do any more. And I said, give him another bid. And we gave him another bid, and it went down straight away to us. So thank God I made that extra step, because he's won his price two or three times over. And he's having won a Derby as well. Who would ever dream to get to win the Australian Derby at the AJC? And he was another horse, and fantastic.
Another horse that really came from a bit of obscurity. He came through benchmark races to be a great horse for you was Vision and Power.
Yes, most definitely. He is another New Zealand bred horse. I had him with Robert Smurden, and it got to a stage Robert said to me, I think, Nick, I've done everything I can with this horse. He'd won one or two races. He said, I just don't know what to do. I said, okay. I said, look, I always say to trainers, if you've had enough with him, let's give him to somebody else. And if he doesn't do any good, well, we'll let him move onwards. So I brought him up to Sydney and gave him to Joey Pride. Well, then I've won a Doncaster with him. So the success with that horse as well was just unbelievable.
Well, Nick, we thank you for your time today, and best of luck with these Kiwi Breds today and into the future.
I sincerely hope so, and thank you very much for seeing us.